My name is Heather. I'm the owner of Rare Bird Medicine. Today I wanted to talk about surrender to love. So I'm going to begin by talking about how I didn't do that yesterday at all. Ah. Let's learn from my mistakes. Fun. So yesterday I had a lot of stuff to get done. I did make a smoothie. I made my coffee, then made a smoothie and was like, cool, nutrients. I put my little Navita's Focus Blend in there, my apple cider vinegar, my whole leaf aloe vera juice, and all that goodness, all that rich goodness. But I had that early in the morning and then did a bunch of chores, ran and did laundry, came home, dropped off the laundry, took some donations to orphans exchange here, just, printed documents at FedEx because I don't have a printer, all that stuff that requires me to not be in my house and get out in the world. So I'm out there in the world, I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm hungry. I'm actually hangry because I didn't actually have sustenance, and the smoothie did sustain me for quite some time. But by about 2 p.m., I needed food, and I didn't give it to myself until about 5:40 p.m. Yikes. Yikes. So my blood sugar, when it is low, it's been my experience. You can ask some of my former lovers and my best friend that I am fussy when my blood sugar's low. I get really aggro. Real aggro. All the heat of anger of my fire signs comes out because it's like, "Arr, arr, arr, I'm hungry." You're not doing earth again, Heather. So I was real angry and just yelling in the car and just being fussy. And I was like, man, I'm fussy. What is going on? I'm just hollering, hooping and hollering in this car. And I'm almost home. And I'm just like, gonna get home, gonna make a snack. Everything's gonna be okay. But right when I turned onto the street before I get to my street, there was a car coming towards me. And sometimes you make too sharp of a turn and then you see a car coming, you kind of get over. And that's what I was doing. So I made too sharp of a turn, but this driver didn't like the fact that I made too sharp of a turn, and they just dipped into my lane to be like, don't get in my lane. Like, let me educate you. And that's when I snapped. That's when I didn't surrender to love at all. I was like, oh, Heather hasn't had a snack, and this fool thinks they're going to teach me how to be in the world. So immediately just pulled my car to the left, set it in park, jumped out of my car, start running towards this guy's car. Bless him and me. Luckily, the road was free and he was able to turn right and get away from me. And that's so fortunate for all of us down here at our school. Thank you, Sacred Helping Spirits, for that one. I had a lot of words to say that I will not repeat here because I had not met my base needs. And you never know, when you decide that you're going to show someone, let me show you how to live, because, you're also not surrendered to love. You just never know who you're dealing with. I don't have a gun, but I am crazy as the day is long when I'm mad. I'll tell you that much right now. And I'm not afraid of death. I've buried way too many people to be scared of that paradigm. So can be helpful or wise to maybe not get too involved with other people and what they're doing and just stay focused on your own little track. But who knows? Maybe that guy didn't have a snack either. I don't know what's going on in his mind. I do know that experience stepped on the complete opposite side of the coin of who I intend to be in the world. My intent daily is to be love and form. Another way to say this that won't be popular with all, but my daily prayer is to fulfill the will of God. And so you can say fulfill the will of Allah, fulfill the will of Brahma, fulfill the will of Source, fulfill the will of divinity, fulfill the will of the divine cosmic intelligence that created the Fibonacci sequence and sacred geometry, the mathematics back of the universe, and seahorses and, peacocks and goats standing in trees and all this stuff that my little tiny ego had nothing to do with. Fulfill the will of that which makes a seed become a tree, whatever that is. But whatever dress or label on it you want, I think it's really all the same thing down here. Atheists and agnostics call it energy, whatever. But I want to fulfill the will of that. And I believe the will of energy is for joy and love and happiness. I think the will of God or the will of spirit is for joy and love and happiness. And joy comes from love. I mean, if you think about, I can say from my own vessel, anytime someone has shared love and understanding, anytime someone has been compassionate about my growth edge and my learning rather than separatist and in judgment and like, you should be where I am on a topic. That's not conducive for me to having an experience that feels joyful or feels, oh, fun. Fun. You're not trying to understand me at all or hear me out. This is very stimulating. That's less fun to me. So a lot of my joy in life and my happiness and my elation and my excitation has come from communion with others in a loving way and connection with being loving kind myself. All the times I've served, all the times I've given, I've done a ton of service work in this life, and that has brought me tremendous joy and fulfillment. So what I can say is, because I believe that even if you stand in a selfish place, like, it feels better to love, even if there is no divine intelligence that created all this stuff that mankind did not. And there's just nothing, there's just no intelligence that created all that mathematics. Even if that's the case, still, you'll find it feels better to receive love. It feels better to give love. Some people have had so much lack of love in their rearing that may not be their truth. They may tell themselves that's not their truth. But if you really look at it, even if you had a terrible childhood in which you were bullied and treated cruelly, in your youth, you can remember and recall wanting to be loved, wanting people to be kind. So one of the ways that I, Heather Mackey, am going to be able to surrender to love on a daily basis, my goal is to be love in form, to be joyous and to be love in form. Doesn't mean that life isn't going to slap me with some real intense challenges. But I can come to those challenges and meet those challenges of life, meet that opposition, meet that frustration, meet that judgment, meet that irritation from a more centrally love-oriented place when I've met my base core needs. So yesterday, I didn't meet my base core needs. Have you had enough sleep each day? Are you hydrated and drinking enough water? Are you using the restroom when you need to release waste? And are you filling your belly with food and nutrients to have the grace of using your mitochondria for your brain function and energetic dynamics as a physical being? Are you doing that? Are you meeting all those base needs? That's an area where I realize again and again and again, until I meet my base core needs, it will be difficult for me to show up in the world the way that I want to be. And it's no one's job or stewardship over that other than me. It's my job to make sure I have a smoothie with nutrients and deliciousness, because I like that in the morning, and a snack. Heather. You need a snack, girl. Where you get crazy out there in the world, where you start flipping out on people running towards a car like a cheetah. Forgive myself my learning, my growth. The other thing that I see that can make it difficult for the consciousness to choose love, to choose peace of mind, peace of heart, to choose joy, is to be in a state of constant judgment. And there is a wonderful teacher that offered me the awareness that there's a distinction between judgment and discernment. Judgment says you can't run across the streets. Those streets are dangerous and they're bad and you can get hurt and there's all kinds of crazy people and people drive crazy. That's judgment. Judgment is like, fire is dangerous and awful. It can burn down a house. It burned down my friend's house. Okay. That's judgment. Discernment is, I don't recommend crossing the street if the velocity of a vehicle is coming towards you more quickly than your velocity to cross the road. I would recommend waiting until I discern that I probably need those cars to pass in front of me. The rapidity with which they're coming at me, probably going to hit my body. I'm going to let that pass. I'm going to be alert in my awareness as I walk in the world, because there are all kinds of beings here. And I'm going to, oh, fire is hot. I can discern, let's not do that again. Let's not stick our hand in the fire. So when we're in a state of judgment, those people over there shouldn't be doing that. Whatever that is. We can be certain we're not in a state of love, because judgment causes separation. You can discern those people over there I don't want to have dinner with. Those people over there are not my cup of tea. I don't have interest in inviting them to my birthday party. That's you can discern that about somebody. But to judge them, it's really egotistical. It's really egotistical for an individual to be like, I know better than that person knows what it is they should be doing with their life, how they should be living their life. I know what their life should look like. It shouldn't look like that. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're walking through life and you are the steward of where it's going. So let's rein that in and maybe discern where we need to go, and just trust that other people will find their way to knowing if they don't know whatever it is you seem to think they need to know to be better humans, which is a judgment. Yeah. So to surrender to love, there are a couple of things in order to have that be an active, natural response and practice. One of those things is to meet your base core needs. If you're in a fight, flight, freeze mode, then you're not going to be able to offer your best self in response to life. So can you create habits? Can you create ritual around self-respect, self-love, self-care, honoring the self, taking care of the self, being a steward of your physical vessel and your needs? And another aspect is are we willing? Am I willing? Are you willing to start discerning instead of judging? To start discerning instead of judging. I discern that I want a world that has blah, blah, blah in it. So I'm going to go become a da, so that more of XYZ exists in the world. I want more liberty. So I'm going to pursue a path that ensures that more of that is left in the world before I die, which is coming. I love talking about death. Another way to surrender to love is to have an active practice of it. Can you sit for 5 minutes a day? Every day. Are you willing to give your consciousness, your heart, your mind, your vessel 5 minutes out of each day to just be with yourself in a loving way, to just sit in forgiveness with you if there's any judgments you're holding? The way we correct judgment is through forgiveness. The way we heal judgment is through forgiveness. So if you've been judging, attacking, expecting perfection out of yourself, demanding, being impatient with yourself, can you sit for 5 minutes a day and just say, like, I forgive me my transgressions against self. I forgive me the places where I have a difficult time practicing self-care and self-respect. I forgive me for that thing I said or that thing I did yesterday. I forgive me. I forgive me. I love me. I love me. And then in that 5-minute practice, to dedicate some of those minutes to, I forgive the world. I forgive the world, any judgments I've placed upon it. I allow the world to grow. I don't demand it to know anymore. I allow the earth to be a place of growth, not perfect doing, being, knowing, saying, speaking. I allow it to grow. I forgive it, the pain that is caused as one grows. Sometimes you can have growing pains. So I forgive the world, its growth edge. This day I'm asking myself, and I'm asking you as well, which of any of these things might you be willing to add to your life so that you can surrender to love and offer more love here instead of strife? I'm going to start planning for ensuring that Heather gets a snack by 2 p.m. I promise you that. That's going to become a higher priority. That's a constant cyclical learning for me. I hope that you love yourself this day. I hope that you surrender to love in more ways so that we may have a more peaceful planet to walk on together. Blessed be.